Hi everyone, welcome to Own Your Story. Today our guest is Kevin. He is a financial consultant turned a winemaker turned a movie maker. So Kevin has a very interesting story, and today we are going to dive into his life story and explore the world through his lens. So first of all, Kevin, welcome. And can you tell us about your life story, the transition from corporate world as a financial consultant to exploring the world? You told me that you just took a one way ticket and then go to Europe. So what happened there, and what's the thought process behind it?
Okay.
Yeah.
So thank you, Isabel, for having me here. It's exciting to be sharing my experience. I think after 10 years in financial consulting career,
Yeah.
one day I just woke up and just realized that it's
Yeah.
time. At the back of my intuition, I just say that I have to leave from my current setting, so from my current city, from my current country,
Yeah.
and really get outside and to have a new perspective of my life. So it wasn't easy. I would say that it was just like one night the decision was made. It was a
Yeah.
long process, but finally at the 10th year, it just before Christmas, I just say that okay, I have to do it for myself
Right.
because I love myself so much that it has
Right.
to. My life has to mean something.
Yeah.
So I took an air ticket and flying to London without any specific agenda, a very specific goal, but it's just to live. I try to live a period of my life in which it is not based on monetary gains or activities that is geared towards generating income, but really just live life, connecting with people, connecting with communities in which I live.
Alright. So is there one tipping point where you come to the decision? Because like so many people want something else, but they couldn't make the decision. So for you, what's the tipping point? Or like, is there like one moment where you know it so clearly?
That's a very good question.
Yeah.
I think for me, it is when one day when you wake up and you realize you lost that source of joy of living. For me, it's the most important
Oh,
thing.
that's bad.
Then you realize that something is really tremendously wrong.
I see.
And if you look at us as a human being, when you look at our identity, if you strip off our job title, our financial status, all the labels that society associates with us, so what are we as a human being? I think finally we are a creator of our source of joy in our life. So it is about coming back to that place
I
that
see.
enable me and also empower me to make that leap. Yes.
So in your 2 years, right, you explore the world for 2 years in Europe and then in New Zealand
Yes.
as well. So are there any like especially memorable moments that like give you like very deep impact?
Okay. So the 2 years, it wasn't planned from the beginning.
Yeah.
So it just started off. But what I know that I wanted to do is to volunteer.
Yeah.
It's about having a purposeful and meaningful connection with the society, and also to have fellowship through volunteer work. So with that, I actually started off in London, and then we create projects to help homeless people. So we basically run soup kitchen, especially during winter time, to bring hot drinks and food to homeless people. The ironic thing is, Isabel, we are in one of the richest capital in the world, London, and then you have homeless people. So it's very ironic, and when we were there, our purpose is actually not to give food only, but is to engage and connect with the homeless people and to encourage them to reintegrate back to the society. The feeling that I got is actually the person who is homeless and myself is no different in terms of what is possible for our life.
Yeah.
But the difference was the choices and the decision that we made. And the saddest thing that I see for these homeless people that I've met, there's one particular guy that I remember. He was so brilliant, he was so smart, and he could speak multiple languages. And the saddest thing is that he has given up on his life. And the worst still is he has given up on himself. I think this is the saddest thing that could happen to any one of us.
Right.
So it is the greatest reminder for me even until today, when I feel down and I have to remember, because there's no one can give up on you. except for yourself. So when you remember that, then you know that you have to make that decision for yourself and not to give up on yourself and on your life.
Yeah, so what you're basically saying is that the choice is equal, whether you want this or that. It's
Yes.
an equal choice. It takes equal amount of effort to make that choice.
Yes.
I see. So at the end of your exploration, how do you settle into winemaking? And it's such a rare career for a Malaysian where we live and grow up in a tropical country without any vineyard.
Exactly. The craziest, most illogical decision
Yeah,
ever.
illogical.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can use a calculator and punch in all the numbers, but it will never amount to going to winemaking. So this will bring a story to second part of my gap year, in which I flew to New Zealand to pursue another interest. I was introduced to this financial awareness program where in London we deliver to high school students between 14 to 16 to get them thinking about their life, what they want to do. I felt that it's very, very empowering. It's to really get younger people to think about there's the consequences of what they do now. We were there to really help the students to see if they don't do well now, there's a consequences to their life. But we help them to think about what are the dreams, what are the career they want to pursue, and then from there, hopefully, they will want to study and pay attention to research. So I felt it's a very powerful program, and I wanted to bring it to New Zealand as well.
I see.
And I was there, and during that time, I was given the opportunity to travel to South Island. It's one of the most beautiful in the world. In Queenstown, in the central Otago region, one of the most famous wine region, to go Pinot Noir, my favorite wine grape. And it was the first time in my life coming from a tropical country and to find myself in the middle of a vineyard, to touch the wine, to touch the soil in which the wine grows from, and to taste the wine in which it is produced in that region. It is, I don't know, speechless. I was beyond
Just
words.
that
Connection with nature,
right?
with the source, connecting with your food. You know, it's totally magical. And coming from a financial consulting background in which we make prediction and forecasts of future earnings based on so many things that we cannot control, inflation rate, employment rate, GDP. But now in viticulture, in wine growing, it is such an honest work where you have the grape grower, you plant the wine, you depend on the climate to have sufficient rain,
Surrender, you mentioned.
and sunshine, and hopefully at the end of a hard year of labor, you have a good harvest to make wine. Or it could be the other way around, you know, depending on how was the climate that year. So there's a, like you said, there's a lot of trusting there, there's a lot of surrender there. But for me, above all, it is a labor of love. There's so much authenticity in what you do, and to make something that is to bring enjoyment and happiness to another people. Because in the end, the wine is only not for me to drink, but also to for family, for
in
friends,
a way,
for a customer.
it's a way of serving people.
Exactly. So that's how it attracted me so much about being able to bring joy to people in a very authentic way.
I see.
Yes.
Alright, so how long were you there in the winemaking industry?
After finishing my gap year, I went back to Malaysia. I was introduced to a series of programs that I could study, and I was quite interested in France for some reason. And then because of tradition in wine growing, it is the old world. It's one of the most important wine growing country in the world from the past until now. So I said, why not France? So I applied to the program, and one of them actually carried with it a scholarship offered by the European Union. It's called Erasmus Mundus. I encourage everyone to actually look into this if you want to go to further study. It is a scholarship that enables people from the third country, which means outside of the European Union, to pursue a higher education in Europe.
I see.
So with that, I applied, and not knowing of the success rate of the scholarship, and I got it. Out of 24,000 people who applied in that year, there was only 8% of people that offered the scholarship. It was the most enriching and amazing journey after, because I was given the opportunity to study in 5 different European countries in Europe, So starting from France, Italy, Spain,
Yeah.
Hungary, and Switzerland, and this total cultural immersion
Yeah.
in
It
which
sounds so good.
you're in the middle of the countryside in the vineyard.
Yeah.
We were doing harvesting, so
Yeah.
I was touching grapes for the first time. I was breathing air in the countryside. I'm a
Right.
Kel. I'm from Kuala Lumpur. I'm a city boy all my life. So just imagine finding myself in the middle of the countryside, in the middle of nowhere, in the vineyard, touching the wine, harvesting the grape. It's crazy. It's mind blowing.
Yeah.
And to breathe the air in the country for the first time, I don't know. I was speechless. The education is one thing, but that life enriching element just around
Yeah.
education, this is something that we'll never exchange for. I think it's all started
Yeah.
from the gap year when I decided that I have to do something different in my life.
Alright, so now that you have moved on from the wine making period, and then now looking back, what does that period of life mean to you? What's the impact in how you see life right now?
Okay. I discovered a new way of living.
Right.
More importantly, we very much immersed in the French culture because the program was taught in French.
Yeah.
So I actually have to pick up a new language, starting from zero.
Right.
So it's not, it's not English and then you try to acquire technical terms in English. It's totally starting from ABC in French and then going up all the way to university level.
Yeah.
So it was a huge effort
How
to
long
pick up
does it
language.
take?
So there was a bit of real intense learning is during the summer I took a 2 months intensive course, but I
Right.
started casually learning French about probably 9 years ago,
I see.
but with no idea that I would one day go to France. It was more
yeah,
of a
somehow
casual
it's like
interest.
there's the seed and the fruit.
Yeah, looking back, it connects, the
Yeah,
dots
yeah,
connects, but
correct.
without knowing the reason
Mm.
why in the beginning.
Yeah.
So for me, I discovered a philosophy of life, a way of life, which is we call in French la joie de vivre.
Yeah.
It is the joy of living. And then in France, it's something that I felt so rare in Asia because we are still a developing country. We cannot deny that.
Yeah.
And there is, even I could use the word, it's a strong obsession with economic growth. It's always about making money. And then we lost something that is also essential in life that I discovered during my European experience is the day-to-day, the joy of living. So it's about taking time to eat your food, taking time to prepare the food, taking time to savor wine,
Yeah.
taking the time to connect with people that matters to you. So all this I discovered during this experience, and I wanted so much to bring this joy back to Asia, back to Malaysia, to share with people that how wine and gastronomy can bring people together and to have a genuine and authentic connection. And for me, that is the beauty of life.
Alright, so since that's what you believe in, what you want to achieve, and then somehow why filmmaking and script writing?
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. So a lot of people thought, oh, okay,
Yeah.
it's like changing career again. No, for me, there is. I was the last part of my stint was in Italy,
Stint.
where yes, because it was 1 year only.
Yeah.
Where I was doing scientific research in applying wireless technology into vineyard management. So I find somehow, working in the vineyard, I'm tied to a specific location. It's good in the sense that you really connected with the community.
Yeah.
But in terms of sharing my passion about wine, about gastronomy, about the joy of living, somehow I felt that there is a limited connection that can do being tied into a specific place. So that brings me to start to discover the power of TV and film as a media of communication, as a media of reaching out to people across the country, across the region, across the boundary, and to bring this message to people of all cultures, all races. And that's where I start to seriously consider dipping into filmmaking and script writing.
So with this new career just kicking off in script writing, what's your vision in this new journey? What do you want to achieve?
I think in the company, in the business world, you always have a mission statement or vision for corporate. And
Yeah.
for me, I think as an individual, we need something. For me, I call it my own personal manifesto.
Mm.
So I look at the career. It's not something. It's not an end, as in about getting money. I think having a certain standard of living is important.
Yeah.
But the work itself, the career that we choose, has to somehow tie in with our own personal core beliefs and values.
Yeah.
How how what we do has a very strong thing about strong direction, about how we are creating impact to ourselves, to people around us, to the community we live in, also to the country and in the region in which we live, and ultimately to the world as well. So
Yeah.
for me, being a storyteller, if you like, is a more
Yeah.
broader sense in script writing and filmmaking. It's
Yeah.
about telling story.
Yeah.
Uh, what's so powerful about this TV and film medium is that it is an ability through the story to hold a mirror to the society, to the individual audience as well, to look at their life. The most surprising thing for me when I learn about filmmaking and storytelling is it's not about the technique of storytelling. It's really about looking at our life, looking at how to live our life.
Mm.
Because in every story, as all of us know, there's always a hero or heroine. And we enter the story, whether in a novel or in a TV or in a film form, through the hero or heroine. And we experience this journey. I feel like it's almost like taking a roller coaster through his or her eyes. But you are physically sitting on an armchair. So in a way, you're an armchair traveler. So, but the thing is, through the story, we experience different life paths. Because in all the movies and TV that we've seen, basically it's about the hero starting from a point, most often in a lesser lower point,
Yeah.
and something missing in their life, and they want to achieve something, acquire something consciously or unconsciously. So taking through that journey about how the decision was made, how they start their journey from their ordinary world to the extraordinary world, because that's where the real story begins, how that adventure begins for him or her. And evidently there's always a lot of obstacles the moment you want something.
Yeah.
Frustration begins because you're not going to get it, like all the stories that we've seen. The hero and heroine will always be together only at the very end if it is a comedy.
Yeah.
So we can look back in our life and to understand it as well. Like you said in your book, on your story, when we can look at our life as a story,
Yeah.
and when we face challenges and obstacles, it is the same. The film mirrors our life.
Yeah.
I would say art mirrors life. We can make peace with that, knowing that yes, because we want something, we want to achieve something, and the obstacles will be there. It's only will get worse. Because as we see all the movie, whether it's superhero or whether it's the war movie or a romance movie, it's always get worse. Like the boy who wants to get girl, in the end will lose the girl first because of
only
whatever.
then we have like a climax to look forward
yes,
to.
no, it's
The
probably
transformation.
coming to the point where it's like there's no, you're farthest away from your goal. You know, like all the possible way to rescue the relationship or to rescue the mission is gone, and bam, suddenly there is a turn of faith. And it is very much like this in our life. But the thing is, we do not know when, we do not know how this twist and turn will happen to us. So we just have to trust. So for me, this is the beauty of storytelling.
Yeah, I love how you come alive when you talk about script writing and storytelling. It's like you are really passionate about it.
Yes, I think going back, I thank you for noticing that. So for me, it's connecting back with that source of joy. When we lose that source of joy, we lose our human experience. So if I could quote one of my favorite writers, he's an Italian journalist, he's no longer with us, but I really look up to him, Tiziano Terzani, and he says, isn't it a human condition in the first place? It is an opportunity for us to be happy. So I think that is our biggest responsibility.
Alright, so like going through three very very different industries, is there like something that is consistent throughout this, like in terms like it could be a skill or it could be a belief that is like consistent throughout this journey?
Okay. Well, very deep question. um, Above all, we have to value ourselves. I think in all these three different stages,
Yeah.
we need to value ourselves to see that we have this capacity. I'm human as well. There are moments where I have a lot of self-doubt. I think we all will experience
Yeah.
something. But it's to believe that we are worthy, of happiness and success, to achieve our aspiration. Let me quote back the Italian journalist. He says,
Yeah.
it's a message to the youth. He says that we all must aspire to create a job, an occupation that corresponds with our talent, with our ambition, and above all, with our joy. And this is something I live by. The joy. I think that is something that holds true in the three stages.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Like I was quite amazed as well. It's like if you didn't leave the first lucrative job, I would say, as an investment consultant, like none of this like beautiful journey would happen for you.
Yes.
Yeah, so and then we come to the next question, like what is the one principle that you live by?
I would say, don't sell yourself short. Don't take the easy way out. You just have to, you cannot lie to yourself, because deep down, if there is an unrealized value in you, an unrealized potential, you will know it. And it is yourself who is selling yourself short. I'm telling myself that for
Yeah.
not taking the responsibility to realize that full potential that we all have, that we all know that we have in ourselves. That would be that guiding principle.
Right, thank you for that. I think that's what I need to hear right now as well.
No, I'm telling myself.
Yeah,
to
that's
be
what
honest.
we all need to always remind ourselves that we are worth something, like there's something worth fighting for or
Yes.
worth struggling for.
Yeah.
Yeah, so comes to like some more fun questions. So if you are stranded on an island indefinitely, what is the one book, and you can bring one book, what is the one book that you will bring along?
So stranded, like the TV series Lost, suddenly the plane
Yeah,
crashed, and
yeah, you
in the
can have
middle of
one
nowhere.
book with you.
Yeah, I'll go back to this book that I really like. It was the summer of 2015 that I was introduced to this book. I was holidaying summer holiday in south of France, in this island called Corsica, beautiful island in the tropical. So I was in the island, so I was introduced to this book. And what's amazing about this book, it was written by an Italian journalist, which I introduced everyone already, Tiziani. I read in French because it was translated in French. The title is The Great Voyage of Life. If you are a traveler, if you are a voyage, you know, and this is not traveling to a specific destination, it's about talking about our journey in life. So the gist of the story is about a father who is diagnosed with dread disease, and he wrote to his son who is working in the United States and to ask if he would come back, and he want to have a one-to-one moment with his son to basically pass on his life experience and his wisdom with his son. And with that, they created this book. So it's in a kind of an interview format, but organized with different chapters of life, of the father's life, of course. So it's very rare that we get to have this intimate account where a father talks so frankly and so honestly with his son, and sharing his, wisdom about being a father, about being a man. What is it mean to be a man? What is important about life? All the important things that is important to us in life. They carry through an intimate conversation between the father and son, with a lot of jokes sprinkled in between, but also a lot of tears, touching moment as well. For me, if I was stranded in the island, I think having that, because you probably will start to reflect about life. I think the book will be a good companion to reflect on my life as well.
True.
Yeah.
Alright, that will bring me to my last question. So, what is your definition of a great voyage of life, a life well lived?
In the midst of all of us trying to forge a career,
Yeah.
to have a financial safety net, sometimes we forgot to live. There's even a song for it. It's in French, "Je oublié de vivre." And every time I listen to this song, it's
Yeah.
by one of the greatest French singer, Johnny Hallyday. It's during the 70s or 80s. But every time I listen to it, it just brings me to tears because sometimes getting into the daily grind, we
Yeah.
kind of forget to live. And life is not a future destination somewhere when you are already having X billion or million in your bank account, or you are the most powerful man or woman in the world. But life is happening now with every breath that we breathe.
Yeah.
And therefore, for me, I think coming back is about cultivating the joy of living on a daily basis, on a moment-to-moment basis.
Alright, so beautiful. So thank you, Kevin, for coming to own your story and share your life experience with us. Share your passion, share your energy. And we wish you all the best. And before we end this, like, how can people connect with you?
Isabel, thank you for having me.
Yeah.
To give me this platform to share my experience. Hopefully, it will reach out and meant something to someone out there. I'm a bit hesitant with the use of social media.
Yeah.
I'm a bit like a retro, if you like. So I would prefer, if you want to connect with me, you could always write to me by email, k.wanderman with an A, WANDERMAN @icloud.com. So I like a bit of old-fashioned, really taking time to write.
Yeah.
Just like receiving a snail mail. When was last time we received a snail mail from a friend? I think email is probably the equivalent of a snail mail
Yeah.
nowadays. And for anyone who believes in self-empowerment, for anyone who wants to connect, to create community projects that celebrate life, to bring more joy of living to the community in which we live in, do write to me. Let's see what other projects we can create, and looking forward to receive your email.
Alright, thank you, Kevin, and thank you, guys. So see you guys next week.